Have you heard the news? It's getting lots of rave reviews. A good time is waiting just for you at Sister Spokesman.
And I'm saying, hey sisters! All right, and plus that gives me energy. So today, you know what? We're here to talk about a serious matter while having fun. So we're here to talk about, survival, breast cancer survival, but also how do we get to a point where we are surviving? Because a lot of times we don't go and get our mammograms and we don't do the things timely enough. That's when it becomes critical. But today we got a lot of good news and a lot of vendors here that are going to help us to be okay with dealing and surviving with breast cancer, right? So now, today we're talking about Live, Laugh, Learn. It's both a party and a call to action. That's what we're here to talk about today. So Sister Spokesman and Minnesota Breast Cancer Gap Project are delighted to partner today for the first time for an inaugural event. So this is a very unique and exciting opportunity to partner with the Gap Project. I'm very honored to be able to have Sister Spokesman be a part of that partnership. We talk about Black Women Matter. And that's why we're here today. We invited you today to come to learn more about survival breast cancer, but we're also here to make sure that you get a mammogram, which we have some vendors here today. We want you to spread the word to people that you love. We have 5 healthcare systems here today that can sign you up for mammograms right here on the spot. So if you haven't already signed up for your mammogram to get one done today, let's take the time today to sign up for one. It doesn't take that long to sign up. These sisters are here, each table that's here to sign you up. Won't take long to get you signed up. You'll be here having a good time all afternoon. Take advantage of the vendors that are here in terms of signing you up. And then of course take advantage of the vendors that are here to help you with some other prizes and things like that they have for you. So the GAP project produces an awareness and educational video that has been created and delivered by Black women. The range of videos show what happens during a mammogram and breast health information, so you'll be seeing that. GAP believes that Black women matter, and the project is driven to their energy and shared experiences. So again, I say that because shortly you will hear 2 special speakers who are members of the Minnesota Breast Cancer Gap Project Advisory Team. They will educate and inspire you. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that myself. I also wanted, to talk to you just briefly to say that I just recently went and had my mammogram done. And it's just, at our ages of, 45, 55, 65, we're at risk. And I have a mother that died of cancer recently. And I have a sister that's a survivor. So it's important that we continue to get checked. And I'm proud to say, I just got my letter the other day and I'm clear. So I'm good. So we're always grateful to know that we're good and when we have to have tests done. So make sure to sign up today. If you're not already signed up to get one with your doctor, you don't have to wait to go to your doctor to get signed up. Sign up today.
This is my my best friend. I can't even call him anything other than my best friend, Taylor Hamilton. He's so wonderful. You ready, Taylor? Oh my, I'm feeling high. My money's gone, I'm all alone. Too much to see, the world keeps turning. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. Peace and blessings manifest with every lesson learned. If your knowledge were your wealth, then it would be well earned. If we were made in His image, then call us by our names. Most intellects do not believe in God, but the fear is just the same. Ooh, on and on and on and on. My side keeps moving like a rolling stone. On and on and on and on. Y'all know this? I go on and on and on and on. Ooh, on and on and on and on. I was born underwater with $3 and 6 dimes. Yeah, you may laugh, 'cause you did not do your math. 1, 2, 3. Dang, y'all feel it? 1, 2, 3. The world keeps turning. Oh, what a day! What a day! What a day! A man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. Does it seem hotter in your summertime and hotter in your fall? If we were made in his image, then call us by our names. Most intellects do not believe in God, but the fear is just the same. Woo, 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 on and on and on and on. I go on and on and on and on, yeah. Ooh, on and on and on and on. I go on and on and on and on. I'm really kinda hungry, 'cause my high is coming down. Don't feed me yours, 'cause your food does not endure. I think I need a cup of tea. The world keeps burning. Oh, what a day! What a day! What a day! What a day! You're rushing to destruction, 'cause you don't have nothing left. The mothership can't save you, so it's gonna get left. That we were made in his image and call us by our names. Most intellects do not believe in God, but the feeling is just the same. Woo, 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 on and on and on and on. I go on and on and on and on. On and on and on and on and on, yeah. I go on and on and on and on, yeah. On and on and on and on. Woo, 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 on and on and on and on. On and on, yeah. I go on and on and on and on, yeah. And on and on. I love to sing about love. It's just my favorite thing to sing about. And Jill does it real good in this song. You know, it's the way he loves me, I think. I know y'all know this one. Woke up this morning with a smile on my face. Jumped out of bed, took a shower, dressed, cleaned up my place.
Anyway, yes, my table. Yes, come talk to me.
Maybe some breakfast, yeah, toast, 2 scrambled eggs. What else I'll make y'all? Greens. Grab my keys, grab my purse, grab my jacket off to work. Beaming all the way down the road. Is it the way you love me, baby? Yes. Is it the way you love me, baby? 4:30, can't wait to get home. Nah, girl, I got something else to do. Go ahead, really get your groove on, 'cause tonight my man's coming through. We gon' have to connect some other time. As much as I like to shake my thing on a dance floor, I got another nice freaking just right way in mind. Tonight I'm gonna hit the high score. Is it the way you love me, baby? Yes. Is it the way you love me, baby? Yeah, 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 yeah. Is it the way you love me, baby? Baby, yeah, yeah. Is it the way you love me, baby? Yeah, yeah, you make me girl. Is it the way you love me, baby? Yes, is it the way you love me, baby? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, exactly. Ooh, thank you. All right, you came along, all right. You ready, Tay? Kept thinking, how can I live without help you, but you just felt like dropping in and just expect me to be free. Well, now I'm shaving all my loving for someone who's loving me. Gonna go, walk out the door, just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. 'Cause I got all my life to live, and I got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. I will survive. Hey! Now this last song is for my mama. Trying to breathe. I sing this for her because I watched her rise over and over again. She had breast cancer, then she had lung cancer, then she had bone cancer, then she had brain cancer. And her faith never wavered in God. She was an amazing example that God will do it over and over again. And when it's your time, it's your time. And she was just known for her crazy faith. She was a mother of 7, a single mother of 7. She got her master's degree in her hospice room months before she passed away, a month before she passed away. She didn't let anything stop her from being an amazing mother to not only her 7 children, but other children that anybody's children. She was their mom. And I just sing this for her. You're broken down and tired, living life on a merry-go-round. You can't find the fire, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Yeah, we gon' walk it out. Ooh, mountain. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, and I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times ahead. And I'll rise up high like the wave. I'll rise it hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll bring the world to its knees. Mountains, bring them to their feet and move. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, and I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the wave, I'll rise up, in spite of the age, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. Be you, be you, be you, be you. All we need is hope, that we have each other, that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise up. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Now rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up. Now rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. Now rise up, rise like the day, I'll rise up, in spite of the age, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you,
Appointment. You go into the clinic, you check in at the desk, they may ask for your ID and your insurance card, they may even have to fill out a few forms. If you don't have insurance, that's okay. There's a program named SAGE that can help you with that. They'll have you have a seat in the lobby, and a nurse or a tech will come out and call your name. Once the nurse or the tech grabs you from the lobby, they'll take you back to a private room, give you a robe, give you time to undress from the waist up. Once you're ready, they will take you to the screening room, and on the way to the screening room, you can ask them any questions you may have. They're happy to answer those for you. Once you're in the screening room, the tech will walk you up to the machine. They will help you to position your breast on the machine. Yes, this is a little uncomfortable or a little weird, but it's okay. The techs have seen everything. They've seen all shapes and sizes, and they will make sure that you're comfortable. Once they have you positioned on the machine in the correct way, they will take a couple images. They take up to about 4 images per breast. They will check those images. Everything looks okay, then you're good to go. Once the screening is done, the tech will take you back to the dressing room to get dressed. Once you're dressed, if anything is needed, they will have you stop at the front desk. If not, you're free to go. You should receive results within 2 days via email or an app. If there is something else that needs to be done, you will receive a phone call for scheduling.
So the process is pretty simple. You can have a mammogram any day of the week, and you don't need a referral for it. So if you're over 40, please get a mammogram. You matter, I matter, we all matter too much not to be screened.
Okay, take it away, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here, and thank you especially to Natasha for making that video. I think it's very important to do whatever we can to help people understand what they should expect before they come in the door, because for most of us, in most situations, we expect something's going to be worse than it turns out to be, and sometimes that fear can stop us from doing something that could save our lives. So, just a little bit about me. I think there may be a little blurb in the program today, but I am a radiologist who specializes in breast imaging. Radiologists are people who look at images and interpret what they may mean in any abnormalities. And I specifically do breast imaging all day, every day, and I'm fellowship trained in that. I got into this for a variety of reasons, but most importantly because breast cancer is very prevalent in my family, and we have a BRCA2 gene mutation that predisposes us to breast cancer. So I won't go into my entire history, but it's pretty obvious why this is important to me. But Natasha, can you tell us why this became important to you?
Yes, so I'm Natasha. I've been in nursing actually since 1998. I've been at the VA for 20 years. I actually got into this by just by being who I am, always asking if I could help somebody. And so because I was always asking to help someone, I got pulled into this. But I love it, and it's one of the best things that I could have done. I don't have a family history of breast cancer. I do have a family history of colon cancer, so this is very important to me because I really want to see women get screened. I don't like the fact that sometimes women don't get screened and then they find out that they have breast cancer, so that really bothers me. So I'm really big on education, so I got into it when they drugged me into it, and I said yes, and I'm glad I did because I love teaching. I love educating people, so this is very important to me.
Great. So the GAPS Project, for those of you who don't know, is basically a group of mainly women who got together under the direction of two important women in here and decided to figure out what we can do to break down the barriers that stop women from coming to get screened. So in my job every day, most of what I do involves women that have already walked through the door. And the unique thing about being a part of the GAPS Project is I got to explore the other end of that, all the women who don't walk through the door. Do you want to speak a little bit about what you see as the barriers as you're out there trying to get women to come to get their mammogram? What types of barriers have you encountered that stops people from doing that?
The biggest barrier I see is fear, lack of education, lack of finances, myths. People don't really understand that they can actually be screened, or a lot of people are afraid of the pain. They're afraid of just knowing that they may have cancer. But just trying to take a hand and show them how to get through it and walk them through it and how fast it takes. It's only 4 or 5 minutes to get it done, and once they get it done, a lot of people are very glad that they did, and they are happy to come back the following year.
And what do you, if you had unlimited resources, which we all love to have for all purposes, but if you had unlimited resources, what do you think would get more women to come in and get screened, more Black women to get screened?
I think unlimited resources, I would say money. Finances is great to for those that don't have it, that can't afford it. There are so many people that don't have insurance. If I had unlimited resources, I would have finances for mammogram vans. I found that doing the mammogram events and bringing the vans to the people, that many people will get screened because it's brought to them. I do a mammogram event every year at my church, and I used to just do it at my church. But then the Lord spoke to me and said, you have to meet people where they are. So we have to go to the people. We can't just assume they're going to come to the doctor. We can't assume they're going to come to our churches. We have to get out to the community. So with those unlimited resources, I would provide those vans and provide that staff, because everybody's short-staffed right now. So that would be great.
Perfect. You know, in our conversations, one of the things that came up and one of the questions that we've talked about is, if I had an opportunity to reach women before they walked through the door, before they felt alone, before they were diagnosed with an advanced cancer, what would I tell them? Well, one thing is this video. So making these videos has been wonderful because it's an avenue for people to understand what it is that they should expect. But more than that, I feel like a lot of people think that having breast cancer is a death sentence. And it's anything other than that. Not only do we have incredible technology and medications that can help, but one thing that I want women to know is that if you get your mammogram every year, there's an 80% chance that if you do develop a breast cancer, it'll be caught at what we call stage 0 or 1, which has an essentially 100% survival rate. So just getting your annual mammogram basically has a huge, huge chance of saving your own life. And you saw how quick and easy that it is. There's not a lot of things we can do out there outside of putting on our seatbelt, maybe not smoking. There's just not a lot of things out there where you can get that level of impact in the ability to save your own life. So that's definitely one of the things that I would say is important. So Natasha, and people have heard me joke about this before, but my husband always says I'm way more comfortable talking about breasts than other people, and he gets uncomfortable because I make jokes and I'm talking about boobs at dinner, and he's clamming up, you know, and I'm just going on about nipples and all these things. And so you and I are very comfortable talking about breasts. But what can we do to help normalize talking about breast health and breast cancer in the Black community?
We can. Oh goodness, that's funny. I think we can do things like these events. I mean, having these events and having them year-round, not just in October. I know it's not October yet, but everyone looks for breast cancer and breast health awareness in October, but just having the events year-round and bringing that to the table. One of the things that I do is I talk about it in my church, in my family. We have fireside chats at our family reunions. They don't like it, but I do it because they need to know, not just about breast health, but other health, you know, initiatives and things like that. I'm very big on preventative. We want to prevent things and not wait until things happen. So I think a lot of community events would be great. And talking to our providers, not being afraid to talk to our providers about these things. Don't allow them to dismiss you. If you feel something is wrong, talk to them. You know, call someone, go get checked out. Even if you don't feel something's wrong, if you know you're of age, say, hey, I know I'm of age for this or for that, I need to get checked out for this. And I've been on the receiving end of that where the doctor says, oh, you don't need that or you don't need to do that. But advocate for yourself and go and get checked out.
I agree. And, you know, as providers, we don't always do a great job. If you're stressed, you have a short amount of time to talk to people. But really, we need to push people to do what what they need to do right now. In healthcare, so much is driven by patient satisfaction, whether the patient enjoyed talking to you, whether they had a great experience. But you really need to find a provider who's going to tell you what you need to hear, even if it's not what you want to hear. And like Natasha said, if something doesn't seem right, advocate for yourself. And we, as providers, don't want patients to have to be in a situation to tell us what we're doing wrong. The doctors are human too. And if your doctor takes offense to you pushing for something, politely pushing for something that you need, then you need another provider. And we have to get better about telling people what they need to do. My own mother was diagnosed with breast cancer after experiencing a symptom, and she saw her doctor several times a year, and he had never mentioned that she should be getting a mammogram. So this is common. It's all the reminders in the health system, the medical record. It doesn't fix everything. So that's why I think these events are important. So we can tell you directly, in general, this is what the situation is, this is what you should be getting, but just know that depending on your history, it may not be the specific answer for you, but you'll have enough information to know whether it sounds right or not. And so it's important for us to continue to have conversations, not only with people that are in the healthcare field, but with your family members who have been through similar situations. And so coming to an event like this is a great first step. If this is your first step, for a lot of you, I know it's not. We have some breast cancer survivors in the audience, but it is a great step in ensuring your breast health. I do want to leave some time for some questions because I know people have a lot of questions, and maybe a great one is to start with your question about 2D and 3D mammograms. So a 2D mammogram is basically what mammograms started out being. It's basically a picture from the top to bottom of your breast and then side to side. A 2D mammogram basically has all of the tissue overlapping. Recently, in the last 10, 15 years, Logic could answer that. There's been a development of a technology that allows us to do more like slices through the breast. So instead of all of that tissue overlapping and hoping that you could see things that may be hiding in there, or even creating artifactually something that looks like an abnormality but it's not, now we can do a 3D mammogram where you can see the different layers of the breast. I always tell people that if it's not a financial burden to get the 3D, you should get the 3D. About 90% of our payers, our insurance companies, do cover 3D mammograms. We encourage you to talk to your insurance company ahead of your mammogram. If they don't cover 3D, they still cover the 2D portion of it, and then there's an upcharge for the 3D. Every woman has the potential to benefit from getting the 3D. But if it is a financial burden, just get the 2D mammogram, and that's still the standard of care.
And also too with that, because when I just had mine done recently, they just asked if I wanted 2 or 3. They didn't take into account that I might have been paying a different amount, nor did I. So if I get a bill now, I just understood why, because I wanted the 3D versus
Right.
So it's always good to know what you're going in for and through your insurance before you get there. So definitely. We got questions? Do we have somebody that's got the papers? Yep, you got to write the questions down. She's going to come around and get them for me. Are there special services for programs for women who are deaf, paraplegic, missing limbs, wheelchair bound, have other physical or other serious issues?
As far as getting their mammograms, I'm assuming, and the answer is if you show up, we're going to do your mammogram. It is a rare patient that we are not equipped to perform a mammogram on, and while I work primarily in Health Partners, I think I speak for every healthcare system in here. You would actually be absolutely amazed at what we can accomplish. And our technologists are very adept at being able to handle patients that have different physical disabilities. Even for deaf, usually that's already listed in the patient's chart, and there are resources to help us with that. So it is very rare that we are presented with a patient who can't get a mammogram. You can even get your mammogram performed in a wheelchair.
Okay, so then the next question we have is, I've always been told I have sensitive breasts. Is it harder to validate breast cancer with sensitive breast tissues?
I have to assume that person means dense breasts.
Oh, that's, okay, that could be. That could be. Could tell if it's S or D.
Yeah.
Or J.
So dense breast tissue, many people get this and it's like a diagnosis. It's really just a state of being. It's like having curly hair or straight. So by definition, about 50% of women have dense breasts and 50% have non-dense breasts. It's just a proportion of fatty tissue in your breast to glandular tissue, which is the tissue that does the work of the breast. And it's also where a breast cancer can arise. So the denser your breast tissue, it can be more difficult to find a breast cancer on mammograms. But regardless, still the standard of care is to get a mammogram. If they're not useless, some people think, I have dense breasts, they don't work. No, it's still the best thing, and there are lots of signs on a mammogram that we can pick up on, even in patients with dense breasts.
Right. And so, on that same note of dense breasts, this one is it 3D better or preferred for women with very dense breast tissue?
So 3D, we know the people that get the most benefit from a 3D mammogram are women with dense breasts, but I can say that I've seen women of all different breast densities where the 3D showed me something that I would not have been able to pick up on the 2D. But yes, the women with the greatest benefit are women with dense breasts, and it definitely increases our ability to detect breast cancers in those patients.
Okay. What mental health support are out there for folks going through chemo?
I can answer that's a great question. So there's lots of support groups that are either hospital-based or in the community. And whatever health system that you're at should be able to help you know what those resources are. There's a lot to cancer care that's not just giving the patient medications or radiation or surgery. And I'm pretty sure that every health system here has the robust support on multiple levels, from mental health to nutrition, exercise, all kinds of things like that. But those would have to be kind of addressed through where you are getting your care.
So does substance abuse play any part or have an impact on the chance of you getting breast cancer?
That's a great question. Depends on the substance. We know that alcohol and tobacco use have an impact on whether you have breast cancer. To my knowledge, there's no data that tells us that harder drugs, illegal drugs, increase the chance of breast cancer. Don't quote me on that, but I've never heard that. But obviously for other reasons, you shouldn't.
A lot of reasons why people should not, absolutely.
Right.
Should women that have heavy breasts, should they get the 3D breast exam because of the extra lays?
So people with bigger breasts tend to have less dense breast tissue. The 3D mammogram does have a slightly higher amount of radiation, and I mean slightly higher amount of radiation than the 2D mammogram. Typically, if you have a large breast, we will cover most of the tissue in the first image with the 3D pictures, and then tile on the other parts with just 2D because we don't want to over-radiate patients. But if you have larger breasts, it's actually unlikely that you have dense breasts. That answers the question.
And talk a little bit about the procedure when having that exam done, because it didn't seem to be as invasive to me this time. Why is that?
The mammogram itself?
Yes.
Natasha, do you want to speak to what happens during the exam itself, since we couldn't show that?
Right, exactly.
So when you mean when you go in and have that done?
Because usually they used to press you up there and it make you all uncomfortable.
Honestly, I don't know what changed, but I think that part of that is people complaining about how rough people are or were with them, but everything's just so more, much more gentle now. They talk you through it more now than pushing you up there. I mean, because I've been in there when they press you up there, you just go up, they don't talk you through it. But I think with different things coming out now, where people are saying, hey, this is one reason why I don't want to go get this done, they're more gentle. People are walking you through it, what to do, and helping you. Because a lot of times they'll ask, I know with me they've asked, do you want us to put it up there? Or do you want to put it up there? And so you can put your own breast up there on the machine, and they'll tell you when it's going to be a little tighter or a little harder. I think part of it is just a lot of people just complaining, and they're finding out that people don't want to get these exams done because people are not, gentle.
Yeah, and I would say there's actually some newer technologies too that are moving towards also improving patient comfort, because we want people to come get mammograms. For example, there's a curved paddle now instead of like the flat paddle, which is more to the shape of the breast. There are some places that let the patient control the compression. I'm not big on that because compression is a big part of being able to interpret the mammogram. In the places where they do let you control compression, they should let you do it and then maybe push you to have a little bit more. The last thing I will say is, if you have a place that you love your mammogram and a technologist that you had a good experience with, you can request that person when you come back, if that's what keeps you coming back. We have so many patients who say, oh, I want her, or is she here? And they go to that place because they really love that tech.
And keep in mind, ladies, it's really only about a 5-minute appointment, so like it or not, I looked at it like, I don't like it. I never like it, and I don't care who does it, how they do it. But I'm only in there for 5 minutes, and I'm talking about my life here. So I do a whole lot of other things that take me a lot longer than 5 minutes that have no impact on my life, right? Okay? So what are the ages that we can start getting mammograms if we have cancer on both sides of the family?
Yeah, and right now that's usually 10 years before your youngest relative got breast cancer. And so if you have a strong family history, you should be talking to your provider now or when you reach age 30, whichever comes first.
What are some of the symptoms of breast cancer, or are there symptoms?
Yeah, so the most common is a lump. Patients feeling a lump in their breast. And there can be changes to the nipple. Clear or bloody nipple discharge are the most common symptoms that turn out to be a breast cancer. Most people with lumps don't have breast cancer. In fact, I would say of all the people who come in with a lump, maybe 1 out of 30 or 40 of them, maybe at most, have a breast cancer, maybe even lower than that. And so those are the most common symptoms. I will say 2 things about symptoms since I have this forum. The symptom that people worry about the most is pain in their breast. It's actually probably the least worrisome symptom you can have in your breast is breast pain. If it is generalized, it's in like a large area, it comes and goes, it's very likely that that's normal. If you have pain in one area that's kind of reproducible when you do something, for example, my mom's breast cancer is found because every time she drove over the train tracks, she would feel this like pulling sensation. I will say, in all the thousands of women I've met, my mother is the only person I've ever met whose breast cancer was found because of breast pain. It is just not a very worrisome symptom. The other thing I will say is that a lot of women feel guilty because they're not doing their monthly self-breast exams. Do not feel guilty over that. A lot of the medical societies now actually don't push for breast exams done on yourself. It's not that we are discouraging that. But most things that people find during a self-breast exam actually turn out to be nothing. And when you have a lump that is something, people find it. You touch your breast a lot more than you think you do, than you think. But doing this thing in the shower, every month actually leads to a lot of anxiety, and very few cancers found that wouldn't have been found without doing that. So I'm not telling you not to check your breasts. We're not to that point yet. But I hate when someone comes in with something and then they start saying, I wasn't doing my breast exams. Don't feel guilty over that. Nobody does all the things they're supposed to do all the time, and we don't even know if this is a thing we should be doing anymore.
If I'm diagnosed with breast cancer, then what do I do?
That's a great question. Any reputable health system will tell you what to do. We actually have people called nurse navigators who they are dedicated to navigating you through your cancer care. And so there is a roadmap there, and they will help to guide you through that. Almost everyone with breast cancer needs surgery, but not everyone needs chemo or radiation. So most people will start with an appointment with a surgeon, and then they will help you get appointments with other doctors as you need them or as it's appropriate. But there's always a balance between helping patients understand the big picture and not letting them get overwhelmed with all the things that may come down the road.
Natasha, you said you got involved with this because you care. If we care, how do we get started? How did you get started? What advice would you give?
Well, I got started by going to different events with church members and friends, and again, just walking up asking if they need help with anything. But there's a GAP project. You can talk with Pat or Chris. We have some breast cancer champions here. I'm a breast cancer champion. You can speak to us, and we can get you set up with some people that can help you get involved.
Nice. So make sure that you do that today, ladies. If you want to get involved, help save a life, make sure to check. Natasha's going to have to leave us in a few minutes, so she won't be.
I have a breast cancer event today.
She has another event. Yay! All right. She's still out there making an impact. So I think we kind of answered this question, but I just want to ask it again because I have it in my hand just to make sure we didn't miss something. So, is anything being done to get screening done before the age of 40, especially if there is back to the family member history?
Yeah, you should talk to your provider. If you have like one grandma who had breast cancer and she was 95, that doesn't increase your risk, but we have actually models that have been built on research. They can type your information into one of these calculators and determine what your risk is and what would be the benefit of you starting screening early. But you'd actually be surprised how many people now have, with 1 in 8 women being diagnosed, if you have 2 women in your family that have breast cancer, you're getting pretty close to needing to be screened early, and a lot of us, I think, can say that we have that level of history. It's not just breast cancer, breast and ovarian, prostate and pancreatic and melanoma are also associated. So if you have that family history, one, talk to your provider. Two, you can talk to them about getting referred to a genetic counselor, whether there's an association here to get tested for that. And I'd also like to put in a plug for sharing with your family what's going on with you. There's so many people that have diseases in their family, but nobody tells the other people, you know, in their family that they have these problems. And so you're not giving your family members the benefit of getting that information so they can save their lives. So be open and share with the people you love.
Okay, we got one more question that we're going to be able to take, ladies. This one says, if a man has breast cancer, how do they do mammograms for them?
Many people, including the men that show up, are very surprised to find out we will do mammograms on men. If you have an inch of tissue, we are going to get it in the machine. So we do, it's the same way. It's the same thing, and I can tell you there's a lot of men out there that are appreciative to what the women and their families go through after they come and we do a mammogram on them. So we do mammograms on men and ultrasound, and then we will work them up in the same way. And if you do have a man in your family with breast cancer, you should definitely talk about getting genetic testing.
Okay, so the last thing we have just to say is, let's not just talk about it in October, they said. Let's talk about it all year long. So we want to give Dr. Lashana Somo and Natasha Howell a hand for your time this afternoon. Thank you so much, ladies. So thank you so much. So don't go nowhere because you have a special guest here that you're giving an award to, right?
I do.
Okay, so Riona Berry, please join us. And also Monisha, please join us. Oh, be careful. Okay, here you go.
Oh, thank you. Well, Riona, I've known you since I was with Firefly, like 10 years ago. But I know that the work you've done for 33 years in the community. So she and two other women started ABCA, African American Breast Cancer Alliance. It is one of the only fully organizations across the nation that does this work. And she's been doing this work for 33 years. At the GAS Project, really wanted to recognize that because we think that you really are a trailblazer in working with the community and that you serve the community. So we're giving you a tray to keep serving yourself and thanking you. And what it says is, it's the Breast Cancer Trailblazer Award in appreciation of 33 years of educating, supporting, and serving Black women in their journeys through breast cancer. And that I know exactly what you've done. Who here has been touched by Riona's work? A lot of you, yeah. So thank you, my dear. Thank you. Congratulations. Sorry. We're on the red carpet, what can I say?
Thank you so much for this award, and as I was telling the one lady, I said, I never thought that I'd be here 33 years later, because when you're first diagnosed, that's the first thought on your mind. How long will I live? And because of that, when I got together with 9 other women, Linda Finney and others, we decided that the reason why a lot of Black women didn't know about breast cancer and even didn't know how to talk about it is because there was no information out there for us. So this is why we started, and this is why we continue. And I'm looking forward to another 33 years. Thank you.
At this time, I want to take the opportunity to introduce a dear friend of mine, niece, Bree's sister, that was just here performing, and just a dynamic sister. Monisha is a community health worker. She's done community outreach for Volunteers of America and Southside Community Health Services. She is the founder of Lindsay Consulting and is a valued member of the Minnesota Breast Cancer GAP Advisory Committee. Please help me in welcoming Monisha.
Hello, everyone. Hasn't it been a beautiful, beautiful day thus far? Have you enjoyed yourself? Let me hear you, ladies. Thank you so much to the Breast Cancer Gaps Project. You just heard a lot about what they're doing in this community and the other community supportive organizations that we have here as well that is focused on Black women in our community, because you heard the statistics, right? As my sister shared a little bit about our mother's story, I am one of the 7, the second to the oldest, and was a caregiver at an early age to my mother. My mother had breast cancer at the age of 30 when she was diagnosed at stage 4. They kept saying, oh, it's just a cyst, you're too young, you don't need this, and kept pushing it off. But my mom had to do what? Advocate for herself. And once she did that, she found out that it was indeed breast cancer. And so what I want to really push is spreading the message of getting a screening, doing your personal screenings at home, as well as making sure that you're scheduling. Now, because my mother had it at the age of 30, I started having to get my mammograms very early, because they asked you to get them about 10 years prior to when her diagnosis was. Because we don't know exactly when she got, you know, she was in stage 4. And so I did get my mammogram since I was in my early 20s. I think I was even a teenager at the time. And I've been getting them regularly. And because I'm high risk on my mother and father's side, I have to also do other testing and screening as well. And so it's important, if you are a survivor, and we know that this can be in families, to also spread the message within our families as well. And to continue to share that, hey, this is my history. Because a lot of times in our community, what do? We try to close it down, shut it up, we don't want to share it, we don't want to spread the message, we want to go through our journey alone, be private. We don't even want to share. My mother didn't want to share it with us at first, because she didn't want us to have that burden, right? And so we need to make sure that we're sharing the information. So in the middle of your table, you will find this wonderful little card. You can put it in your wallet, in your purse, carry it in your pocket. It's just a pocket-sized card for you. Everybody get one or a few. And we have more. So make sure you look at to get that card. And with this card, you can give this to somebody, because not only do you matter, but they matter as well. And this message, this little card, this message on this card could possibly save someone's life if they get diagnosed early. Reach out to a friend, family member, colleague even. Talk about it. Let's stop being so secretive in our community. You're a survivor, let them know. This is my journey. This can also happen to you. Look, early detection saves lives. That's what we're really into. Invite them to schedule their mammogram. Tell them about the screening, where they can go. There's wonderful people in the room. Get some information from them. Ask them to spread the word. Give it to somebody and tell them to spread it to somebody else. But we really want to just get this message out to you to get your mammogram, get your screening, sign up in the room today. Talk to these people, these resources that are out here, and continue to spread the message of early detection that saves lives. That is your chances when it's stage 1, stage 0, is way better than to find out at stage 4. So I'm just pushing the message out here, not only for myself, but for my mother, to go get checked and advocate for yourself. If the doctor does not dismiss you, what do? Find another doctor. We are not married to them. They are not our spouse. You are the consumer, you are paying them. Find another doctor, but advocate for yourself, share the message, and I'm gonna give this back to Tracy. Woo.
Next one we're going to be talking about home ownership, and it's for learning about first-time home buyers. Going to have vendors in the room that are going to help you with navigating that whole, everywhere from home ownership to how to save money, to get prepared to buy a home, to if you've been foreclosed on, how to get back into the home ownership market, all of that. So make sure to come and check us out. Next month we're going to be at North Point Health and Wellness over in North Minneapolis. We do move around, so you won't find us at the same venue next month, but who knows, we may be back here again. It's a beautiful venue, isn't it? Let's give them a round of applause. So yeah, so please get up, shop with the vendors, and get some more information. Don't leave here without what you came for. Sister Spokesman want to thank you for coming out. The Gap Project wants to thank you for coming out. We're here till 3. Sisters, have a great day.